Hi, welcome back to Box Delights, and I've got something pretty exciting to show you today. This is Cloudspire from Chip Theory Games. This is a pre-production copy and we're going to be demonstrating the solo game for you. It's near final. There's going to be a few little rule tweaks and stuff before the final production copies reach the shelves, but I'm going to be heading up to UK Games Expo, and you can find me on the Chip Theory Games stand. This might well be coming with me and we can demo this game. So Chip Theory Games have sent this to me. Thank you, Adam Carlson, and it gives me a chance to give you a little sneak peek before UK Games Expo. That's so I'm talking, if you're watching this in the future, this is end of May, beginning of June 2019. One thing I don't have is a scenario book and a rule book, and obviously this is not the final box, but let's have a sneak peek inside some of the wonderful components. Chip Theory Games are renowned for their components. For me, board gaming is all about that tactile experience, and for me, Chip Theory Games epitomizes that tactile experience. It's a big part of it. It's what makes board games, or part of what makes board games different to, say, video games, is having these pieces just to push around. We're going to be looking at this solo scenario called Brawlmen Ignition. Again, this is just a preview. This is something that I've printed off just to be able to show this to you. The Brawlmen are one of 4 factions that you can play in this game. In the solo game, you'll be taking on the role of one of these factions. And the game's going to play out in this realm called Ankar, which is this floating realm made up of these tiles. Okay. Now the game's inspired by tower defense kind of games, and also these multiplayer online games you can play where you're racing around an environment, and in this game you're trying to destroy, or create and destroy your opponent's fortresses, building up your own defenses in a multiplayer game. Whoever ends up the strongest fortress is the winner. In the solo scenarios, you'll have a set up map. In the multiplayer games, you're going to start with these tiles face down as you spread out across the arena, doing battle with your armies. We'll be battling for a resource called the Source, the main resource in the game, that source of energy for your fortress, your strength of your fortress. And you'll be battling with armies. These are the Brawlmen armies, and as you're familiar with Chip Theory Games, cracking chips, right? These are the chips, and you'll be powering these or recording the health of your armies using your health chips. So we're going to be using the Brawlmen in our game. These are the heirs, purple chips. These are kind of anthropomorphic. We've got hummingbirds here. Oh, these are your spires. Spires are your defense towers, and you build your spires on source wells. There's different types of terrain on the board. Each faction has its own fortress, is the heirs. The heirs are kind of this bird-like race. Okay, they believe that Ankar's islands are their birthright, and you'll see each fortress has different locations. This is the Brawlmen's castle, the Temple of Neurons, and the inner oak of the Grove Tenders. And what you'll see is kind of like we saw in Too Many Bones. This is the faction sheet for Grove Tenders. Each faction has its own kind of unique abilities or talents. Okay? And different locations on their fortresses will do different things. But also each faction has different types of units. So if we look again at the Grove Tender units, what we can see, we've got a whole bunch of minions, and we've got 3 heroes. You'll be recruiting and deploying units using command points. You'll see there's 2 sides. This is the unupgraded side, and if you flip it, this is the upgraded side. There are kind of levels of upgrading in between. Each unit can receive an attack upgrade, one of these chips, or a fortification upgrade, one of these chips. And your spires, they can also receive range upgrades. So there's a whole host of chips, your health chips here to health up your units and so on. Right, so loads of chips. This is what we've become familiar with. Here's our final faction. Just want to give you a sneak peek at the Aurora artwork here. Spires. They've done a great job, haven't they? Some minions. Who's this bishop guy? It's like this goblin guy, right? Oops. And the heroes. Okay, great looking chips. And the graphic design is super nice and easy, colour coded icons. Okay. Let's look at some of the other components. We've got these landmark chips. These cover up the source wells. These are the places where you build your spires, right? Okay, so here's a source well here. These landmarks start face down. And you can explore these places, okay? And when you do, you flip them over. If you want to discover what landmark minion lies behind. And these will have rewards. So this one here says, this is the reward here. This one, they have stats just like a regular unit. This one says you can build a spire here. Okay. This one, the Thoraxi, offers a relic reward. And over here we've got a bunch of cards. These are relics. Okay. Super heavyweight cards that we've gotten used to. And these, I think, are much better than the first release they did of Too Many Bones. Okay, so there's artifacts here. These are relics. They can help your faction. It says, when grouping units during the preparation phase, you may stack them, ignoring movement speed restrictions. So that's another interesting part of this game, is that the units can move individually, or you can stack them together. Okay, and obviously they'll have movement restrictions based on who's at the top of the stack. Alright, so tons of stuff to explore here. Like Hoplomachus, we're battling in an arena with our chips, but like Too Many Bones, there's this story element of discovery and exploration. That's probably one thing I've not shown you yet, is our dice and some pegs as well. So we're just going to do a final components look, and then we'll get into the gameplay video. These are pegs that we can use to record advancements in your fortress. So for example, let's have a look here. We've got the forming glade here, which has 3 levels of advancement. I can peg this one in for level 1. And then you can refer to your faction sheet to say, what does a level 1 forming glade do? If your advancement involved the use of a die, each faction has its own set of faction dice, then there'll be a slot here. So this is the forming die. So once this is up to level 3, at the start of, I think it's the onslaught phase, you roll the die and apply its effect, whether you're gaining health, an attack bonus or range bonus for your spires. Okay. This is the gate to your fortress, by the way. This is the thing that you can try and destroy of your opponent. And then these 2 slots here are used to record the amount of source you have, the energy that you'll use. This is your currency in the game and the health of your fortress. Okay. And with your source, you're going to get, there's different ways to earn extra. You get allocated amount each turn. And you can use that to purchase these sets of chips here, the final set, to show you really. So there's like upgrades, like these are some wings. Suddenly your unit can fly. Right, different upgrades. There's these kind of blueprints that can be used for your spires, okay, for building your spires. And then you've got these mercenaries as well, who can be recruited to join your army. Okay, these different mercenary units. Pretty sweet, huh? Right, so there's loads of different layers to this game, lots of stuff, potential for expansion, different types of units and upgrades and so on. Loads of stuff to look forward to. Right, I'm going to clear away Oh, and events. So these are cards that get drawn each turn to affect each turn, not during the beginning, but have a kind of an environmental or a game-wide effect. Okay, let's clear away, let's set up, and let's show you how to play the solo game. I will say during for the multiplayer game, so once you've set everything up, so during setup you'll be taking turns to reveal these tiles. They start face down and you'll be flipping them to reveal the landscape, how you want to set it up, and you'll be joining pathways through the landscape. It will take up quite a lot of space. Oh, and one more thing, as well as these upgrades from the market, you can do this terraforming if you like, so you can actually modify the landscape and change the lay of the land, or the lie of the land, to help open up routes of attack or help defend your fortress. So loads going on here. Okay, let's clear up, let's set up. Join me next time as we begin a demonstration of how this plays.